Yep, that's right, not just any molasses flood, the Great One. Boston, 1919, January 15th more specifically. The temperature was rising over the last several days, getting into the 40s. I know, it's a scorcher. And the day before, the Purity Distilling Company had been delivered a load of molasses. See, that's what they did. They distilled molasses into ethanol, mostly used in munitions and hooch. The warmer new molasses mixing with the older, colder molasses, and the temperature changing, plus the fact that the tank was badly made and ill-maintained, caused the holding tank, which was roughly 50 feet tall and held about 2.3 million gallons of sweet, sticky syrup, to burst around 12:30 in the afternoon. Just imagine walking down the street and you're faced with a 25-foot wave of molasses that's coming at you at 35 miles an hour. Puts a whole new meaning to slower than molasses, don't it? 150 were injured and 21 were killed. You'll probably notice that the paper there says 11. Well, it took some time to find everybody. I mean, we're talking about molasses 3 feet deep over several blocks. And it was cooling off as the temperature was lowering. So that just meant it was getting thicker and much more difficult to find bodies. Some were also swept into the harbor and were found months later. They were finally able to clean most of it up with salt water and sand after several weeks, though supposedly the area had a brown tint for several months. Plus, all the people who had been in the area and left, well, they carried it with them and spread molasses all over the city. It took years to get it all cleaned up. A class action lawsuit, not the first but considered a landmark one, was filed against the United States Industrial Alcohol Company, owners of the distillery, who argued that the tank had actually been blown up by anarchists, but ultimately they were found liable and had to pay $628,000, or a little over $9 million in today's money. And one last thing, on October 17th, 1814, a 22-foot tall wooden vat of beer at Moe & Company's Horseshoe Brewery in London burst, destroying several barrels and damaging another vat that then gave way. Between 150 and 380,000 gallons of beer then took out the brewery's back wall and swept into a poor area behind, killing 8 people, 5 of whom were attending an Irish wake for a 2-year-old. Well, I guess that's a way to go.